Hey y'all, I have a quick little story time. Me and my baby boy Mouse.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking. He's going to be in and out the video because he's doing kid stuff.
No.
But this
No.
this is like really important, and this is you need like a shirt on or at least get in the bed.
Yeah, I'm just like.
All right. So this is a very y'all. I gotta look. Just bear with me. Like I am trying to become a vlogger, content creator. You know, because I feel like I have a very interesting life. First of all, I am Shonda, and I have 5 kids, and I'm a single mother. Well, I'm a divorced mother, you know. But that's a whole nother story in itself. With me and Tubby, this is my youngest child. What we want to talk about is our experience with, you know, my kids' ex-pediatrician and how we ended up getting kicked out of her clinic.
No matter what.
And I'm not going to put no names because I don't want to get, you know, sued or, you know, banned. I don't know. But anyway, so I've been with this pediatrician for 16 years. 16 years. And I have 2 adult children, which is soon to be 21 and 18. Then I have my youngest daughter, she's 13. Then I have a 10-year-old son, and Miles is 7. Now, mind you, I've been with this pediatrician for 16 years. So basically, when my daughters was little, that was their pediatrician. When my second to oldest was 2, and my oldest was like 4 going on 5, right? I'm not trying to like have this story too long, but like I said, y'all just have to just bear with me, and I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible. So, I'll say like a couple years ago, when my oldest daughter, like, she was a teenager and just trying to find her way, and you know how teenage girls are. You know, she's a beautiful girl, you know, so she had a lot of boys after her, this, that, and the third. Now, we, you know, me and my ex-husband, we kind of sheltered our kids just so they don't, you know, kind of spoiled them. Well, technically my oldest one was the spoilers. My second to oldest, she's really independent. You know, she's in college, she have a car, she have a job, you know. And my oldest is still with me, but she's still, you know, working on getting her own place, this, that, and the third. She had a few bumps in the road, just like everybody else do. So she had an incident with
his criminal history,
with some testing that she had to do, some female stuff, and mind you, before that, you know, me and the doctor, we had a beautiful relationship. I loved her so much, you know, their pediatrician, because she was so patient and understanding, and you know, and I have 2 of my kids have chronic asthma. The other 2, you know, asthma's not as bad, and my second oldest doesn't have anything, but really bad sinuses. So she saw us a lot, you know, providing the fact that my oldest daughter had really bad asthma. So back to the little situation I was telling y'all about. How we ended up getting kicked out of the office. So their pediatrician had another pediatrician come to work come to work in a clinic with her. And she was really good, but I had to get used to her, and my kids did. So once we got used to her, you know, it was fine. But I always did like just get like a really weird vibe from her, you know. But, you know, like there were times where the original pediatrician wasn't there, so I had to, you know, take the other one, which was fine. So we had some female issues with my oldest daughter, and I stepped out of the office, okay, so they couldn't talk in private. So when I got back in, she let me know, some tests that she ran, female stuff, mothers, women, y'all kind of know where I'm getting at.
And the idea that other families are going through that.
One of her tests came back positive, but it was treatable. So I'm like, okay. And like, I noticed the shift in her energy when, that test came back positive. So, she kind of was like in a hurry to get us out of there, and this, that, and the third. And she also mentioned that was my daughter's last year being there. Now, mind you, in the pediatric clinic, your child can go to that clinic up until they turn 21. So I ended up taking her to another doctor. I'll say like a few days later. They ran the same test. The test was negative. So I called, the office. The nurses were extremely rude to me. Even, the other pediatrician, she was rude. So I was going to give it some time. And I had, my daughter was really upset. And that made me really upset because I felt like we were stereotyped, and it really hurted me because of how long I've been with that pediatrician. The new pediatrician just got there. Like, she don't know my history with the other one, so I try to give her a chance. So I left a message. I wasn't disrespectful. I did not raise my voice, but I did have a lot of frustration in my voice, and I still kept it, professional. And but I did confess my frustrations with that specific doctor, right? I'll say about a week later, I get a letter in the mail saying, by the way, my behavior in the clinic made the staff and the doctors very uncomfortable, and I would have to find another pediatrician. And that really, really hurted me because I've never had an argument. I've never said anything negative. I've never came off negative to my kid's pediatrician and her partner, so it was really hard for me to let go. It's like me and my kids build a relationship with the pediatrician, and we were just thrown out like we were just nothing, and like I said, this pediatrician, it was like we were friends. We talked about a lot of stuff, and when my oldest daughter started becoming a young lady and stuff, and some of the things I was worried about, I talked to her about it. She had always had wonderful advice. I saw her pregnant. She saw me pregnant. Always asked about her kids, and she always asked how my kids is doing even after visits. She was awesome. Had to be. I was with her for 16 years, which is why it affected me so much, because not only was I hurt, my kids was hurt. So from the convenience store walks up with a smile on his face. Anyway, so that happened, and like a few days later, I called her, and I didn't want to speak to the new pediatrician that was there. I spoke with the one I've been with for 16 years, and I just I even apologized. But I told her, like, I don't come off that way, and I felt like the letter was very inaccurate, because that's not how I act in public or, you know, on a phone. So, and I did cry, you know, and I heard her choke up as well. So I don't know what was actually told to her, but I was like, you know, like, that is not who I am. I was just a frustrated mother, just trying to figure out why did my daughter get that treatment pertaining to a diagnosis that wasn't correct, you know. And she understood, and she was like, she's going to send me to another really good pediatrician. And I was like, okay, well, I said, well, take care. She was like, take care. Even told me she loved me. I told her I love her too, and that was that, you know. And ever since then, it's just been really hard trying to find a good pediatrician for my kids that fit. I ended up going to another pediatrician that my kids used to see when her and the doctor I've been with for 16 years both worked in this clinic. So when I couldn't have, you know, my normal pediatrician, I worked with her, and she was really nice. She had her own pediatric clinic, and, you know, I was excited, you know, and I was like, well, I know my kid's gonna be in good hands here. One day, two of my kids had a follow-up visit, and I decided to go on my lunch break. So we was waiting for like an hour, and I was like, oh Lord, I don't want to be late for work, so let me just go find out how long, you know, we're gonna be. So I went to the receptionist, and I was like, hey, I'm not rushing, but I just need to know about how long you think it's gonna take for the pediatrician to get here, so I could notify my boss if I'm just gonna be a little late on my coming back on my lunch break. She was like, sure. So she went in the back. Then she came and handed me the phone, and it was the pediatrician on the other line, and she was like, yes, hello, you have an issue with, she was like, you have an issue with me being late. I'm not about to rush to y'all and get into an accident because I have kids too, and they need me here. And I'm like, no, that's not. I said, I didn't mean it like that. I was just wondering because I have to get back to work. And she was just rude. So what I ended up doing, I ended up giving the phone back to the receptionist. And I told the receptionist, I can't go through something else with another pediatrician when it's not my fault. So, you know, I took my kids out. When they got sick, I just brought them to the ER, you know. If they had to get admitted for follow-up appointments, I'll go to urgent cares and, you know, stuff like that. And like when my kids get sick, it don't be just no one day cold. No, the ones that have asthma, two with chronic asthma, two with, you know, I'm not gonna say it's controlled, but it's not as bad as the other ones with the chronic asthma. And then, you know, my other child, she doesn't have anything but bad sinuses. So any parents that's out there that's dealing with children with chronic asthma, y'all fully know and understand where that puts us when we have to work. We can't go to work. We have to stay home and take care of our sick children, especially when you don't have much help. You don't have family that really help, you know. So to like kind of like, you know, summarize the story, my two younger kids, which is my boys, when they went back to school, I already knew they're gonna come back with germs, colds, this, that, and the other. So I up there vitamin E, right? You know. First 3 days, they were really sick. I had to take off work. Next 3 days, which was the next week, I had to take off work again. But I always keep in contact with my boss and always letting her know what's going on. Now, mind you, I've had a number of things happening kind of back to back to back. I lost my stepdad this year, and I'll say like 2 months after that, I had a miscarriage, and that's another story in its own. And I went back to work. I didn't take the time out, especially after having a miscarriage. Sometimes we do need that little time, and I didn't take it because I couldn't afford it. So when I told my boss what was going on, mind you, my 2 sons were sick with their asthma. My 2 daughters had strep throat and a stomach virus. So I was being pulled from every direction, and I even think I got sick myself. So I was very verbal, with my doctor. So I had to take a leave, and it's not a paid leave. So they did give me paperwork to get filled out from my kid's doctor, so I can still get paid. So we saw a new pediatrician today. Extremely rude. When I was telling her what was going on with my son, she basically called me a liar.
Oh, and guess what? When she told me to take off my sweater so she could do something, she was standing on it, even though she knew where it was, and she knew I was trying to take off my sweater.
See what I'm saying? Like, this is my message to the pediatricians that have really good patients and that have parents that really care about their kids' health. Throwing us out over small stuff is heartbreaking, not only for the parents but for the children too. I couldn't get this doctor to fill no paperwork out. She didn't want to write no school notes. It was just really horrible, I just wanted to, share that with y'all, and if y'all have any experiences with pediatricians, feel free to comment, down below. And like I said, I'm sorry if this video was too long. I'm just getting into vlogging, so more story times to come. By the way, y'all have a good night. Love y'all. Bye-bye.